Good morning, world. Once again, we are here. Fifth Ward Wildcat, and my cohort across from me is whom?
I'm KG in the Houston Review, and thank you for listening to another installment of the KG and the Fifth Ward Wildcat podcast. And as we do, as is our custom, hit us with the scores, Wildcat.
We start out today with HBU. Men's soccer went 1-1 last week, lost on the road to Longwood 1-2, had a win at home against Howard 1-0. No, I'm sorry, on the road. 1-0, Howard University out of DC. Women's soccer beat South Carolina State 2-1, and New Jersey Institute of Technology 1-0. They start defense of their Great West Conference title against New Jersey as the number 1 seed in the conference tournament. Women's volleyball took it on the chin last week, losing on the road to Utah Valley 1-3, and North Dakota 2-3. They are at home tonight against Chicago State. Men's basketball opens Sunday against Augsburg at 7 o'clock p.m. at Sharp Gym. Women's basketball opens against Abilene Christian also this week on the road. TSU women's soccer beat U of H Victoria 2-1. Women's volleyball beat Southern 3-1. Then lost to Prairie View 3-1. Football lost to Mississippi Valley State University 12-9. What a score. Opening kickoff return by
Tyron Carriers tied up C.J. Spiller for the most in history with 7 kickoff returns touchdowns, so congratulations to him. You interviewed him Tuesday after as part of U of H's media luncheon. That's going to be on your website as well, I'm sure, so tell folks how to look for that.
You can look for it at www.kingsideview.com. Hit that hot key with my face on it, the College Sports Report, and that video coming right up. It was a joy to watch that because I happened to be in the corner taking photos at that time when he caught the ball and he turned that corner, and Chris, just like I asked him, he saw green, he saw daylight. He said once he got to the kicker, he said he went to holler and scream the rest of the way. I was like, really?
Hey, because no kick returner worth his salt should get caught by the kicker.
Well, Coach mentioned that the other day.
He sure did.
He said, point blank, what did he say?
He said during I guess the trials for the position, if the kicker tackles you, you need to go somewhere else because you're not going to be on the kick return team. So, but just might as well let's continue with the Cougars. They're 8-0. They're 13th in the BCS. They're 14th in both AP and coaches poll. It's a lot of love for the program nationally, getting some recognition, more so locally, finally nationally as well.
First time for the program to be 8-0 this late in the season.
And they win Saturday over UAB, be 9-0 for the first time in the history of the program. That seems hard to believe, though.
And when you look back, and especially all the teams that Bill Yeoman has had, especially with Dan Davis and that crew and Wilson Whitley, you would have figured.
I read the note from the Chronicle by Sam Kahn, and I was like, wow, really? But you touched on the great teams in the 70s, 80s, and then Andre and David Klingler. But but the ironic thing about all this, and I love my school, I love athletics, everything about U of H. They're 8-0, they're 4-0 in the Conference USA West Division, but aren't they tied with somebody, Jerry? They're tied with Tulsa.
Yeah.
So they have to keep winning to keep pace and keep all these good vibes going.
And you know what? That game at the end of the year now is starting to loom real
November 25th. It's going to be huge because it will probably be for the conference who's going to represent the West in the conference championship game. The Cougars have to keep winning to maintain any hopes of cracking the BCS Bowl. So a lot of things riding on that game. Well, obviously you have to take one game in time, of course. But folks, keep in mind, Tulsa's 4-0 in the conference too, so Cougars have to keep winning to keep pace. As much as we love and respect Case Keenum and Coach Sumlin, they got to win Conference USA Championship first before they do anything else. Because all this other stuff, these winning A games right now up to this point, be off and off. They lose that game and don't win the conference championship.
And the one thing that they have over everyone else, they are outscoring their opponents by 2-1. But at the end of the day, and you're now, especially you've made mention of this quite a bit of times, defense has to become consistent and get better and start games better. because what happened in that Rice game, that could happen on the road against Tulsa or anybody. As a matter of fact, it could happen this weekend against UAB. They've got to get a quick start defensively in these games for them to finish out.
Cougars have to tackle better. They need to be in position. I mean, the Owls, Coach Bailiff, and we can talk about this as well, seemed to confuse the Cougars defense with the quarterback's rotation. They shoved the quarterbacks in like every other play, and the option was just destroying the Cougars.
Up the middle, same situation up the middle.
Like they weren't prepared for it. They finally made some adjustments and got better at it. But when the game finally got out of hand in the fourth quarter, and if you help me with this, please do. I can't think of the first name of the running back for the Owls. Left in the Smith.
Tyler Smith.
He raced past the Cougar defenders, and that caused some concern for me. No offense to Tyler Smith, but if the Cougars defenders cannot catch up to a right-side running back, that says something for somebody.
Not just a right-side running back, but a running back that has had a serious knee injury and was out a year. And he was a lot quicker before then. But when a guy is racing 80 yards upfield and he starts to pull away from you halfway down, something is wrong.
Yeah, because
U of H has a lot of speed. They've got a lot of dual athlete speeds that both, run track and play football.
Well, it didn't seem like it on that 97-yard touchdown run by Tyler Smith because he left us in the dust. Kudos to him. I want to touch on two losses for our area teams in the SWAC football. Prairie View got mashed in a Shreveport Classic by Jackson State, 44-14. And we touched on this as a unlikely possibility that TSU was playing Valley last week. Valley was 0-8 coming in to the game, 0-7 in SWAC play. After last Saturday, they left the game with a win, and they beat the Tigers 12-9.
When you texted me about that, I thought something was seriously wrong. The first thing I remember was the kicking game by the special teams, but when you scored 9 points. So
each team had a safety. I checked out the box scores and everything.
I didn't even want to look at it.
The safety for, I think, Jackson State was a result of, reading the box score correctly, a bad snap by the Tigers going over apparently the punter's head, and then it rolled past him to the end zone, resulting in safety. So, once again, special teams is dooming Coach Kevin Ramsey and the Tigers, and TSU is 1-5, and SWAC play 3-5 overall. They're in trouble. He's in trouble. Let me say that specifically. He's in trouble. They have a home game this Saturday versus Southern at 6. Prairie View is going out of conference playing Texas State and San Marcos at 3 o'clock. So hopefully they can bounce back. Both of them can bounce back and get victories. Let's shift gears, and very briefly, we're going to go leave college athletics, touch on the NBA real quick. This won't take long. A lot of he said stuff coming out now. Jason Whitlock and Stephen A. Smith have said and or written that Players Association Executive Vice President Billy Smith is throwing Derek Fisher under the bus. Jason Whitlock wrote that Derek Fisher has been talking to David Stern, the NBA side, privately, secretly behind the players' union's back, making a deal or trying to work out a deal or get a deal done, and unbeknownst to the union people, Derek Fisher sent a letter to the union saying that wasn't true. I dare folks question my integrity. Billy Hunter sent out a letter to the union the following day saying that we're unified, stay united, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. Both sides met before the Labor Relations Board on Wednesday, and they were told to bring more paperwork in for the president and the owners to bring more paperwork so they could discuss things further. The bottom line, they need to get a deal done. It seems inevitable that it's going to be a 50-50 split. And truth be told, it's not exactly 50-50 from the basketball-related income, because the owners can take $600-700 million off for expenses off the top, which will make it roughly a 53-47 split. So, depending on your perspective, player says that's already 50%. Owners say, well, you agreed to allow us to take $600 million off the top for our expenses. So, if you agree to that, not this one, I agree with them. If the players agreed to that initially, then you had nothing to grab about.
Right.
So, that's on you. That's on you. So it'll be 50-50, get a damn deal done, and let's get back to putting people to work. That's playing basketball games. I can write about the NBA, and you can work.
Yep.
Folks can work.
Yep.
We have TV games on ESPN, NBA TV, and TNT instead of something around college football games on ESPN in place of NBA basketball games. Make a deal. Glenn Big Baby Davis, is he still go out Big Baby, or did he want to go out Glenn Davis now? He tweeted that get a deal done. 51% works for me. So there's some players who want a deal. There's some players, and super agent David Falk has said that he's not sure if a 50-50 deal will be ratified by the union, et cetera, et cetera. Bottom line is this, Jerry. A check is better than no check. Do not go by the way of the hockey players in 04-05 who lost in the tie season. And this week, NBA beat writers have interviewed some NHL players who are in the same city as their NBA counterparts. And to a man, those players said it was not worth it. It was not worth losing an entire season just to get little minuscule details done. It's not worth losing an entire season. That money is gone, Jerry. The players might get their money back if the season is canceled completely.
When you cancel games, you cancel money. You cut your money off.
It's not coming back. So get a deal done. It may involve some of your pride. You got to swallow your pride. Get a deal done. Play 60 games, 65, 70 games, whatever it is, and get your check and make everybody happy.
There you go. Hopefully soon enough. I'm still hoping we'll run out of time before the start of December 1st for games. But hopefully sometime in December, NBA games will be resuming. But it's November 3rd. As far as you and I are concerned, college basketball is here, so that's where our focus is.
I gave basketball scores already, folks. I'm going to tell you, we moving on. And to prove that point, further add that point, Prairie View Panthers men's team beat Wildcat College in an exhibition game on Halloween, 81-62, on the hill before a crowd of over 3,700 folks in the Baby Dome. That's impressive.
I don't care who you are. When you can get a preseason exhibition game against anybody, and you get 3,700 at a historically black college,
that's outstanding.
In the middle of the week,
which leads me to my local teams. I wonder how many folks will be all of them. I wonder how many folks will come to TSU on Monday when the TSU men's team has an exhibition game against Wildcat College at H&P Arena at 7 o'clock. I wonder if 3,700 folks will be there for that. I doubt it. The U of H women have an exhibition game on November 7th, that same night, versus St. Thomas. I doubt 3,700 folks will be there for that game. The U of H men's team on Tuesday, November 8th, has an exhibition game versus Concordia. Now I'm kind of curious to see how many folks come to that game, because U of H earlier this week has announced that all the 4 seats have been sold. They had to add some more seat ticket areas for seat ticket buyers. So excitement is in the air for the U of H men's basketball team. Anticipation is in the air for them. Tayshawn Thomas, freshman, John Simmons, there's talented players on the team. Joseph Young. There's a lot of talented players on the basketball team. Coach Dickey has assembled a young team, it's inexperienced, but it's got talent. It's got potential to do things this season to lay the groundwork for what should be an outstanding season next year when highly touted recruits get on the court. Signing day starts on November 9th. So Danny House and Chicken Knowles will put pen to paper on November 9th, as well as the U of H women's team will announce some big signings as well. So things looking brighter for basketball. On the men's side, if you don't indulge me, sir, to talk about U of H women's basketball very briefly.
How brief?
It's going to be a long year.
How brief?
It's going to be a long year for the Lady Cougars. They're not very athletic. They seem to, the light has not come on some of the players' brains, basketball IQ-wise. It's a struggle for them. The coaches have to coach more and more, say things more than once to get the players to understand what they're trying to get accomplished. They had a closed session scrimmage versus the Aggies on Sunday. The national champions put the wood to them. It wasn't pretty sight from what I was told. Surprisingly, the Cougars did well in the half-court setting, but when this scrimmage style changed into the open court, full court, Aggies just ran them ragged, embarrassed them. The score I heard, I didn't want to mention in the podcast. It was embarrassing. It was an eye-opener for the coaching staff. Hopefully it's an eye-opener for the U of H players, because oddly enough, last season, U of H scrimmaged the Aggies, got the head handed to them.
But it was a wake-up call.
It was a wake-up call for them. And that team went ahead and won conference, won 26 games. This year's U of H team, they ain't win 26 games this year. I don't know I just wonder how tough this team is mentally to deal with the butt kickers they're going to receive in non-conference and get ready for conference play come January.
Now,
it's going to be a long year.
With that being said, my compadre didn't get a chance to witness this up close. I watched him in the Vegas Dueling Desert Classic, and that game against Marist was a second wake-up call that told them what they needed to be capable of doing, of being able to do in the half court. You mentioned half court sets. That team just drilled them to death. They passed, they picked, they screened, they came off shoulders. Everything that you run and drills and all in practice, they saw that in that 40 minutes against Marist, and they just picked them apart. That group finished the game with their head down, but with a thought in mind. We can't just run up and down the floor all day long. We got to be able to have some breaks in order to win games. Because the finish, we got to be able to get teams like that in the tournament. Hopefully, if they are capable of doing what you do, something in the half court, that may be the route for them this year.
It will have to be, because they're not athletic enough to beat teams full court. That's just telling you like it is. They're not quick enough. Some of the footwork of some of the players needs to improve. It's going to be a long season. Lower expectations. Anyone listening expecting this year's squad to continue the success of last season's team, and especially forget that winless going undefeated in conference, that's got to be done in first 1 or 2 games of conference play. That's not going. They're in trouble. And I'm hoping for 8-8 in conference play. That's what I'm hoping for. 8-8 will be an accomplishment for the team this year. Porch Landry Sr., Roxana Button Sr., Michelle White Sr., they're going to have to lead by example for the young, inexperienced squad, and hope that Tasha Tubbs shoots well every game, and freshman Taryn Alford learns quickly on the job, and then the rest of the newcomers fit in. It's going to be a long year. I've said that 100 times in this podcast, so at least five times. It's going to be a long year.
At least.
All right. On a more positive note, that's just realistic. That's how we do it on the KG Pickle Wildcat podcast. Right. Keep it real. Right side. Let's give a shout out to Arslan Kazemi. Arslan was named to a preseason All-America team. The collegeinsider.com 2011-2012 Luke Olson preseason All-America team. And they don't divide it up into first or second teams or anything like that. It's all one team. And you and I have seen Arslan play first 2 years at Rice. He's a junior now. Folks, if you have not seen Arslan play, do yourself a favor, get a ticket, get to the field house, and watch him play. Watch him and Tamir Jackson lead the Owls this season to what we believe should be a postseason bid. Arslan is a double-double man. He's averaged 12.9 points, 10.0 rebounds in his career. He averaged double-double last year. I think he was the only person last season Conference USA played to average a double-double. He works. He gets things done on the block. He gets things done on the wing. He's a hard worker. He's a quiet guy, but he gets stuff done.
And at the end of the day, you got to be able to, like you keep saying that, you got to get stuff done. You got to be able to get stuff done.
And just to touch on a few other folks, just to show you the company he's keeping in this All-America team, which he was named, some other players named. Harrison Barnes, North Carolina. Chris Middleton from Texas A&M. Perry Jones from Baylor. Terry Jones from Kentucky. Jared Sullender from Ohio State. Thomas Robinson from Kansas. Those are names you heard of if you're a basketball aficionado like the Wildcat myself. So Arslan is in some high company because he's a talented player and folks are recognize his skills and talent, and they expect him to do a good job this season once again. The Owls open up their season Saturday, November 12th in the House of Tudor versus New Orleans. That should be a win, sir. Correct?
Should.
All right. And that's something, we're going to tie it all out. We want people to support basketball teams in the area. Come support the Isles, come support the Cougars, come support TSU, go support Prairie View, Houston Baptist, St. Thomas. It's basketball season, Wildcats earlier. So this is our time to shine, right?
Yep.
These next few months.
Oh, yeah. Because I'm going to tell you, college basketball this year is going to be fun.
And let's touch on one thing, sir, what's coming up on November 11th.
Yep.
7 p.m.
Up on the hill.
On the hill, the right side women's team plays Prairie View. You and I will be there. Our faces will be in the place. I'm curious to see how many folks will be at that game. Had 3,700 folks see the men play on the hill. I wonder how many folks will be there to watch the women play.
Well,
because the women's team was picked to win the SWAC. Guys, no disrespect to Coach Rim, they're picked 7th in the SWAC. Women's team has proven things in the last few years. That program is on the rise.
And it's rolling.
So I want to see how much support the women's team gets, especially when they're playing an area rival. So see how many folks come to see Rice play Prairie View November 11th on the hill, 7 p.m.
And with that being said, it'll be interesting how Rice, the Lady Owls react to a large crowd that early.
True. And we'll see how well Custer plays. Jessica Custer, she is the owl, she's the hub. She's the best player on that team. Devon Smart is the one card. She makes everything go. We'll see how they handle. Let's just say Prairie View does play a little physical. They're physical. They get after. They're athletic. So we'll see how the Owls post players handle that physical style of play. November 11th, 7 p.m. on the hill. I said it 3 times on this podcast. I'm going to say it again. November 11th, Friday, November 11th, 7 p.m. on the hill. Right at Prairie View.
We'll also see what the freshmen look like because this group seems different. This freshman group at Rice this year seems different.
And they seem tough. And that's what you mean by different. They seem like they
seem different.
Tough. They seem physical.
And if they can put up, I think I'll put it like this. First 5 minutes of that game will tell a story in the second half.
And once again, Friday, November 11th, 7 p.m. on the hill, Rice Women at Prairie View.
Yep.
Get your tickets. We'll be there. And I guess it's all right to say a certain team, the national champions of college basketball, defending national champion, the Texas A&M Aggies, have a home exhibition opener on Sunday, November 6th versus Oklahoma City. They open up their season Saturday in Reed Arena in College Station, November 12th versus Lamar. They'll match them, of course. But November 15th, they get the rings. ESPNU hosting Louisville. The Aggies are ranked 6th in most of the preseason polls. Louisville's ranked 9th or 10th in the preseason polls. 3 o'clock.
Here we go.
It's part of the mothership ESPN 24-hour marathon basketball tip-off marathon. I think it's the only women's game, maybe 1 or 2 women's games involved in the 19 women games is going to be shown during the marathon. But the Aggies versus Louisville, November 15th. We'll talk more about that in next week's podcast.
Put in on the time?
3 o'clock, sir. 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They get the rings, I think, 30 minutes before tip-off. I'm curious how many Aggies come, how many fans come to that game, because, it's an afternoon game, so we'll see how many people will be able to attend the game. But the national champions are playing well, practicing well. We'll see how things go. Some of the new faces they have on the squad. Kelsey Bone transferred, sat out last year. 6'4", 6'5" post player. Well, apparently she's fallen in love with perimeter game, which I really hate to hear about, but she needs to get her physical self down on the block and go to work.
That's what she did. That was high school now. She needs to get this, and now she needs to get into the post and find out what she's made of. Because now, this year, Brittany is back, has spent time overseas and all to get some things going.
And of course, Baylor Lady Bears are number 1 pick in preseason polls for women's basketball. Well deserved. I mean, Brittany Griner is a junior now, and Audrey Sims, the point guard, is a sophomore. They're back. They're on a mission. They feel like they left some things unfinished last season.
Correct.
They beat the Aggies 3 times, played them 4 times. The 4th time they played them, they lost with a chance to go to the Final Four. So they're on a mission. Brittany Griner said that, all she thought about was losing to the Aggies at that. The only time they lost to them was the one time when it counted in Dallas, sort of a packed place. And Coach Mulkey has said that there's not much to say to the team. They know that they left things undone. So it is their mission to get to Denver for the Final Four. where Wildcat and myself will be, I might add.
Yes, sir.
Just throw that out there for the listeners of the KTN Official Wildcat podcast. Once again, for the
We roll hard.
11th year in a row, we'll be at the Women's Final Four covering the event, regardless of the teams participating, because that's what we do, because we love women's basketball. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to touch on a couple more things here. The Southland Conference announced their preseason team, their preseason polls, and I'll link two of the articles on my Houston Hornball View Facebook fan page, so you can click on there and go to the fan page, and please share your thoughts, share your opinions, share the comments, like the comments, tell your friends about it, all those wonderful things. But the Southland Conference men's basketball preseason poll, 12 teams in the Southland Conference. It's divided in two divisions, 6 teams each. In the Eastern Division, Northwestern State coaches poll was picked to win the Eastern Division. Texas San Antonio was picked to win the Western Division with 8 points, 8 first place votes for 68 points. It's clearly UTSA is the favorite because they've received the most points out of any of the 12 teams. And even the SIDs, which we need to, I don't know what it is, but the Southland Conference, as far as we know, is the only conference, one of the few remaining conferences that do a coaches poll and a preseason poll by the sports information directors. So I think that's great. I don't know, why other conferences won't name names, or why other conferences haven't done that or stopped doing that. But the SIDs also tabbed UTSA to win on the men's side in the Western Division, but on the coaches side, in the Eastern Division, picked McNeese State rather than Northwestern State to win the Eastern Division.
The Cowboys?
So yes, McNeese State on the men's side, and on the ladies' side, one of my coaching buddies, she played at Texas. I won't hold that against her. But Ty Dillard, assistant coach at Texas San Antonio, was picked to win their division by the coaches. And it looks like they were picked by the SID to win the West Division as well. So a lot of expectations for UTSA. It's a much closer race on the SID's part. They had UTSA finished with 5 first place votes, even if Austin finished with 3. Sam Houston State finished with 3 first place votes. You're talking about a program that was down for a while, with damn near dead. Things are picking back up for them.
Yeah, they were dead.
Well, okay.
They were dead.
So yeah,
because once football season was over with, other than men's basketball, you never heard anything about the women's basketball program.
Yep.
Literally.
And just one more thing, coaches for women's side, McNeese State women's side was picked to win the Eastern Division. So apparently, McNeese State basketball, Cowboys, Cowgirls are expecting big things from them. So we'll see how things work out in the Southland Conference.
Even Lamar still in there?
Lamar's still in there. Lamar,
as long as Lamar University Cardinals are in that conference.
yes.
I'm picking them. I'm taking my shot. With
Well, they'll pick third in the Eastern Division and third in by the coaches and the SID. So, they're kind of starting over with because Jill Plumlee has graduated now, so she's done. But Jasmine Henderson is there playing for them. So, Southland Conference tournament will once again be at the Merrill Center in Katy. So, in March 6th through 9th. So once again, you want to watch some basketball, college basketball, mark that on your calendar. The Southland Conference basketball tournament will be at Merrill Center, Katy, Texas, March 6th through 9th. And just a side note, another note, the Aggies women will be hosting the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament in Reed Arena in March as well. So with those 2 wins should be a given for the Aggies. We're going to be on the Sweet 16, and who knows what happens from there. What else is on your brain, sir?
Well, let's see. What else is on the brain? Other than the new conference realignment.
Oh, yeah, I might talk about that.
Yeah, now it's finally, everything's been voted on. Paperwork should be in the fax machine and headed this way. Are you excited? Are you contemplating, why this is all going to lead? Because now it's about to become official before we do our next podcast.
U of H Board, Big East, I think, sent out the invitations to U of H, SMU, UCF as full-time sports members, and they're hoping to get Boise State. Another one had decided on Air Force, for BYU or both for football only. We'll see how it goes as a Cougar alum. The Big East is better than Conference USA, so it's an upgrade. Even in its semi-stable status right now, I think it's better for U of H's athletics, football-wise. As long as Boise State, I said it last podcast, as long as Boise State is part of the Big East, I think it'll be better for the Cougars to be in the Big East. I'd love to see the Cougars play Boise State football. I think that'd be a great matchup by one, I guess, program that has made it now, and then a program that is returning to prominence in U of H. I think that'd be a great matchup for the conference and even get some national pub as well. So I think that'd be great. Ironically, in all of this, West Virginia is suing the Big East to leave early before the 27-month stipulations that are in the agreement to join the Big 12, which apparently a former Big East president or AD helped write those 27-month agreement into the stipulations. But he wrote it for the basketball school. So we'll hold on to them. So yeah, we'll see how it all plays out. I think it's ironic. And it's also ironic, and it's legal now. So we'll see the legal ramifications, how it all comes about. If West Virginia they win the suit, or Big East, whatever, money ends up changing hands, and the Big East commissioner Marinado has said that we're going to hold West Virginia, Syracuse, Pittsburgh to this. They're going to stay in the Big East for the 27 months. So we'll see how it all works out. I was doing fine until you mentioned the commissioner. Good luck to him. He hasn't been as proactive as a lot of folks would like. He's probably left some things on the table that he probably shouldn't have done. But right now he's still in charge of the Big East, and hopefully he'll learn from this and stabilize the Big East for the Cougars, and which will result in the AQ bid for the Big East now. Keeping that, because that is in question. Now, they say nothing. Once again, from the contacts that I've been able to talk to, three things. One, it will be based on U of H and Boise both coming into the conference to hold on to the AQ. Right. Because of the fact that they've been ranked over the last 3 years. I think that's how it's done. Yeah. Cincinnati was ranked BCS 1. Right. So Boise and U of H this year. So if all those things count toward the Big East, then they're going to hold on to it. They're going to hold on to it. Now, the question comes up is how the basketball schools will accept this being football, all of this being football driven, because that's been the hold up, and that's why the commissioner has not so much been slow about doing what he needs to do. It's just that group pretty much controls the conference office. And one school in particular, Providence, where all these schools are connected, the folks that are in charge are connected through that one school. Providence is part of the basketball only schools. That group has to accept the money and all of this movement and realignment is all football driven and move on, because right now they're holding the commissioner's feet in the quicksand and are about to find themselves becoming irrelevant because ESPN can't save them and keeping their AQ just because they are connected. That is also connected between that conference. Well, anyone listening to us, anyone who knows us knows basketball is our first sport priority. But we are not naive or blind to the fact that college football, is running this, is the lead dog in this hunt. So it's great that Providence, Georgetown, Villanova, Louisville, Coach Pino is in favor of Providence basketball. He wants exactly, that's true. He wants Memphis and Temple to join the Big East to make it a stronger basketball conference. That's not who's stirring the soup, pot, whatever. That's not bringing the money in. Football is king. that's the bottom line. And one of our colleagues, you know, ESPN and a United States Basketball Writers Association member as well, Andy Katz, has tweeted and personally thrown some bricks at U of H and SMU over the Big East, you know, sharing his opinion that the Big East should pick Memphis and Temple rather than UH and SMU.
This is where I would stand toe-to-toe with him and have an argument.
He's missing the fact. This is football driven. It's not basketball driven.
And he needs to wake up. He's just like everybody else that's talk about basketball, being this, that, and the other. He's another one of those that needs to wake up and smell the roses. It is about the green grass out on the field.
Without a doubt. And I respect his opinion. I respect his writing. I respect his reporting. But he's wrong on this. Yeah. Period. And that's not because U of H is involved and that's my school. This is football driven. Period. Bottom line, this is football driven.
There's no way if I'm Boise State, I'm going clear across country just for basketball.
Right. They're doing it. The reason they're considering this is because of football. Is because they can be an AQ, automatic qualifier, in the BCS. That's why they're considering this. Football. Period. Not the Olympic sport. Football. Bottom line. Period. Football is driving this train, leading this train. You pick a metaphor, pick an analogy, pick a simile, pick whatever you want to call it. Football is the lead dog in this. Why else are almost 600 media putting in credential requests for the LSU-Alabama game? Football. 1 versus 2. They're not going to put that in request for LSU-Bama basketball.
Folks, we don't even get that many requests now for Final Four, even on the men's side.
So let's just be realistic.
Thank you.
Okay, it's football driven. That's why I'm happy that UH will be in the Big East. It's football driven. Yes, the basketball conference it'll help out UH at basketball. Yes, but this is football driven. It's money driven. At some point in the future, we can get back to talking about the APR academic progress report scores rates, which is ironically, apparently, Connecticut will not be in the 2012-2013 2013-2014 season because the APR scores will not be high enough to meet the NCAA minimum requirements of 930. We touched on this in the last podcast, really, about the NCAA voting on it. Well, they passed everything we touched on in the previous podcast.
Yep.
GPA requirements, they increased that. The $2,000 cash, based on attendance.
Right.
They passed that as well. They're leaving it up to schools, conferences to how they want to handle all of that. But you need to have a minimum 900 academic progress report rate score right now. And if you don't have it, it'll be 930 in a couple of years. If you don't have it, you will not be eligible for postseason.
And we're talking about everything from bowl games.
Yes, sir.
And when you start talking,
and let's put this in perspective. Connecticut national champions this past season will not, the men's team, let's say the men's team, will not be eligible for postseason because of 938. They will not meet the 938 APR score. Big time Connecticut. Let's put it in perspective. Texas Southern
could get a shot.
Texas Southern Athletics APR score for the men's team for the 09-10 season was 976 out of 1,000. 976. UH was 960. So Coach Tony Harvey, who's signed a 3-year contract with a 2-year extension, he's doing something right.
Well,
and that's compliance. Thank you, Charles McClellan, AD, and the compliance officer that they have now on campus at TSU, getting things done for the academics, the student athletes, helping them get things done. They graduate the classroom finally. 976 for TSU. That's outstanding. Connecticut's was, I think, in the 800s.
And it wasn't even close.
Due to transfer, due to guys leaving, due to guys not getting a job done in the classroom. That's why they're in the mess they're in. So I'll be curious to see if the NCAA holds firm and keeps true to their 930 requirements, minimum requirement, and keeps a big-time basketball superpower like Connecticut out of the tournament, or they bend and waver and say, well, you're good, you've been good to us, you are who you are, we're going to grandfather in things, we're going to bend the rules a little bit because you mean so much to us in the tournament. You think that'll happen, sir?
I hope not.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll say it just like that. I hope.
Would you be surprised if it did happen?
No.
Okay.
No.
How can folks find you, sir, as you wrap it up?
You can find me at www.kingsideview.com. You can hit that hotkey on the front page with the college sports report and my mug, and my compadre across from me. And also Twitter. #AKSVCSR.
And and my big mug is on King Size View website as well. And then the latest edition is also out for folks to pick that up as well.
At the Fiesta stores, in the neighborhood stores, all the way from Missouri City north to Aldine. I think that's where a couple of stores are. West, we've even got a drop-off down in Beaumont and Willis.
So things are going well for both of us. King Size View and a college sports reporter, Houston Roundball Review, myself. My website is HoustonRoundballReview.com. Once again, that's www.HoustonRoundballReview.com. Both of us also now are on YouTube.
Yes.
My channel is Houston Roundball. Your channel is what, sir?
It is AKSVDCSR.
So he's got videos of his interviews up on his channel on YouTube, as I do also. So we're diversifying.
Yeah.
We're doing what we can to stay in the game. But to be honest about it, so I'm on Twitter as well as at THEHR Review. Once again, that's THEHR Review. So the podcasts are on iTunes. The podcasts can be heard on YouTube. We're having links on our websites, links on Facebook. Tell your friends about the podcast. As basketball season is beginning, we will probably start taking questions via Facebook ahead of time. You can send us some questions and we'll discuss them and answer them during the podcast. So look for that as well. That's a plan we have. Hope we'll get that done. Thank you as always. Listen, tell your friends about it. We think hopefully we've covered a lot of different topics today in the podcast, as we always do. As always, in conclusion, be true, be cool, and do more.